Oliver and Peter Pan's daring adventure in Neverland. Once upon a time, in a place filled with magic and wonder called Neverland, there lived a boy named Peter Pan. Peter loved flying high in the sky, embarking on thrilling adventures, and enjoying his favorite treat, strawberry shortcake. But what made Peter truly special was his unyielding bravery and his strong sense of friendship. His best friend was a tiny, sparkling fairy named Tinker Bell. Together, they faced many challenges and excitement. But standing in their way was Captain Hook, a fearsome pirate who was always plotting to make Neverland his. One sunny morning in Neverland, Peter Pan was soaring through the clouds, feeling the wind against his face. He spiraled and twisted, doing tricks that would make anyone dizzy. From below, Tinker Bell watched, clapping her tiny hands in delight. "Peter, you never cease to amaze me," she chimed with a voice like jingling bells. Little did they know that this day, their usual jaunts would be interrupted by an unexpected visitor. Far away, in a quiet little town, a boy named Oliver was fast asleep in his cozy bed. At 7 years old, Oliver was full of curiosity and dreams of heroic deeds. He often imagined himself battling villains and flying off on wild adventures just like his favorite character, Peter Pan. As Oliver slept, he dreamed of a star that shone brighter than any other. The star twinkled and shimmered, calling out to him. "Oliver, Oliver," it seemed to whisper. Before he knew it, he was soaring through the night sky, following the star's radiant trail. In an instant, Oliver found himself in the heart of Neverland, surrounded by lush forests, sparkling rivers, and creatures he had only ever seen in his dreams. Oliver couldn't believe his eyes when he saw Peter Pan and Tinker Bell flying towards him. "Hello there," Peter called out with a grin. "Welcome to Neverland." "Hi, I'm Oliver," he exclaimed, waving shyly. "It's wonderful to meet you, Oliver," Peter said, landing gracefully beside him. "We've heard so much about your brave heart and adventurous spirit. We could use someone like you on a very special mission." Oliver's eyes widened with excitement. "Really? What is it?" "Captain Hook is up to his old tricks again. He's captured some of the lost boys and taken them to Skull Rock. We need to rescue them." Oliver's heart raced. "I'll help. But how do we get there?" Peter smiled. "Leave that to me. Just take my hand, and we'll be off." With a sprinkle of Tinker Bell's fairy dust, Oliver felt a tingling sensation all over his body. He lifted off the ground and soared into the sky alongside Peter and Tinker Bell. Together, they flew over the treetops and across the shimmering waters, heading straight for Skull Rock. As they approached the ominous, towering rock formation, they could hear the sound of waves crashing against the cliffs and the faint cries of the captured lost boys. Captain Hook's ship, the Jolly Roger, was anchored just off the shore, and the menacing pirate himself stood on deck, barking orders to his crew. "We can't let him see us," Peter whispered. "We need to be clever and stealthy." Oliver nodded, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. He followed Peter and Tinker Bell as they carefully approached the ship, using the shadows to stay hidden. They climbed aboard and quietly made their way to the brig where the lost boys were being held. "Peter. Tink. You came to save us," one of the lost boys whispered as they saw their friends. "Of course we did. And we brought someone special to help," Peter replied, glancing at Oliver with a reassuring smile. Oliver felt a surge of determination. "We'll get you out of here. Just hang on." Using a small, sharp shell he had found on the beach, Oliver started to pick the lock on the cell door. Just as he was about to succeed, they heard the dreaded voice of Captain Hook. "What's this? Intruders on my ship?" Hook bellowed, brandishing his hook menacingly. Peter sprang into action, drawing his dagger and facing Hook with a fearless expression. "You won't get away with this, Hook!" Peter shouted. As Peter and Hook engaged in a fierce duel, Tinker Bell darted around, distracting Hook's crew with bursts of dazzling light. Meanwhile, Oliver continued to work on the lock, his hands trembling but steady with resolve. Finally, the lock clicked open, and the cell door swung wide. "Quick, everyone out!" Oliver urged. The lost boys scrambled out of the cell, grateful to be free once more. But their escape was not yet complete. Hook's crew began to close in, and it seemed like they would be trapped. Peter, seeing the danger, called out, "Tink, get the boys to safety. I'll handle Hook." Oliver and the lost boys followed Tinker Bell, who led them through a maze of narrow passages within the ship. Just as they reached the deck, they heard a loud crash and turned to see Peter and Hook locked in a final, decisive clash. In a moment of brilliance, Peter used his agility to disarm Hook, sending the pirate's sword flying into the sea. With a defiant cry, Hook retreated, swearing revenge as he leapt overboard and was whisked away by the tide. "We did it!" Peter cheered, sheathing his dagger. The lost boys erupted in cheers, hugging each other and Oliver, who had proven himself a true hero. "Thank you, Oliver," Peter said, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Your bravery and quick thinking saved the day." Oliver beamed with pride. "It was an amazing adventure. I couldn't have done it without all of you." With the lost boys safe and Captain Hook defeated, they all returned to the heart of Neverland, where they celebrated with laughter, games, and, of course, strawberry shortcake. As the stars twinkled overhead, Oliver knew that he would never forget this extraordinary adventure and the friends he had made along the way. When it was time for Oliver to return home, Peter and Tinker Bell flew him back to his cozy bed in the quiet little town. As he drifted off to sleep, he felt a warm sense of fulfillment, knowing that bravery and friendship could conquer any challenge. And so, Oliver, Peter Pan, Tinker Bell, and the Lost Boys continued to share many more adventures in Neverland, where magic and wonder awaited around every corner. But that, dear reader, is a story for another night. Sweet dreams, Oliver.
Created by a kid and their parent using Talebot, click the link in the video description to create your own story.